All right, so first off, tell me about some of the updates we're going to be seeing for the theater that was passed today. So, a plaza and things like that.
Sure. So I think folks know, for many months we've been working to finalize all the details for the transfer of the former Sears location to the cinema project. And it's not an easy process because it involves lots of different parties. The mall is in receivership, as many folks know, so there's a whole nother level of lenders and attorneys and steps, extra steps. All of them have to sign off on the redevelopment plan of the project. We've been working to collapse the original lease agreement between the city and the mall that would allow the redevelopment to move forward in the best way possible for the city. So we've been working to do that. And then, of course, negotiating with the cinema project to get the final details and get everything sorted. So they have to get a demolition plan approved. There's some environmental review that has to go on at the site. I think we've talked about that previously. And then, kind of a set a path forward. So it's been an ongoing process. I know everyone is interested in the cinema, and, as we certainly are at the city, and we'd like to see it start, as soon as possible, but the project is still on schedule. We'll be open, next year, and, we are still working on it. So tonight we were again reviewing, that changes to the site plan, kind of refinements, if you will, to the site plan. Not really necessarily changes, but just continued refinement, plaza details, and, kind of the landscaping and, amenities of the plaza, which I think will be a benefit for, for the city and for the area around the mall as well.
Yeah, and just talking to some people today and businesses, it seems like, especially with the plaza, it might bring more foot traffic and money to local businesses.
Sure. I think all retail projects that you see built nowadays include outdoor plazas. They include corridors, alleys, and even whole fake roadways that look like small towns, and that's the motif of the kind of lifestyle center projects, which all new retail projects are based upon. Have long gone, I think, as people know, is interior hallways or interior areas, like enclosed shopping centers. So we have, an enclosed shopping center. It's obviously a challenge from a redevelopment perspective. I think we've been very open about that. It's going to continue being a challenge, but repositioning Sears into the cinema with a plaza and activated outdoor space and a direct kind of visual and pedestrian access from the city's parking garage into the rest of downtown via that plaza will really be a benefit for downtown as a whole. We think it's the right step forward. So,
is it kind of disheartening or troubling the amount of time that it's taken and to have to kind of redevelop the site plans this far along?
No, I wouldn't say disheartening. I guess, we know it's a complex process. Everything with the mall is a complex process. I won't, we've been very open about that. It takes lots of levels of review. So nothing happens too fast. Often everything with cities is a complex process,
Yeah.
right? So we have a development agreement. We have lots of steps that we have to go through as well. And so when you add a government and a mall and, many parties at play to get everything done, it just takes time. And we're working on that. The term sheet that was approved last year for the cinema was that they would open, by the end of next year, and nothing's changed on that. We expect them to start demolition again, depending on, final plans being approved, environmental reviews, other things, this, in the coming weeks. I think we've always said that it would start in the spring. It's still the spring, so we're expecting coming weeks to kind of come together and finally finalize it. But there are steps and there are review, and we're just being diligent about trying to get it all done.
Okay.
You kind of alluded to it already, but what are kind of the next steps to take from here?
Sure. So yeah, tonight we discuss, one issue is just the kind of recladding of the building and how it will interrelate with the demolition, again, because you're demolishing a building that's right next to an existing building. So there has to be a lot of very specific demolition details, and then, how it'll be restored or returned, reclad. And so, again, lots of details that, folks maybe don't necessarily know or care about, but that need to be sorted out. And all the parties have to be happy with how that's going to look. It's not easy to tear down something when it's right next to another building, So we're working through that, and I think those details are kind of final. The kind of final layout just needs to all be firmed up. The final construction plans of the building have to be, kind of tied up. I know the cinema folks are securing their financing. All these are important steps before the city actually transfers the property. And, we're anxious to do it. I think the mayor's been very clear that we're, moving as fast as we can, and we're being as aggressive as we can to get the property back into, back redeveloped and back into a project that brings users downtown and benefits businesses downtown. It just takes time.